Veterans, patriots, family and friends of veterans, historians, genealogists, and those who love a good story. This is one of the continuing episodes of our oral histories, and this one is entitled Veterans with Valor. Again, attention everyone. Present arms. Order, arms. We honor all veterans and those who have served and their families who have supported them in all of the military. Each veteran and their stories are unique. This is going to be a presentation of one of the veterans, and on behalf of the Campbell County Historical Society and the continuing oral history project, and through the cooperation of the Campbell County media, we present this next episode and this is going to be a person that you will honor. And I would like to ask everyone to, when you see a veteran, thank a veteran, because they have done a lot of things. They are what makes America work, and so many times they go unrecognized. And even though we are losing 4,000 World War II veterans a day, and now I'll be in the area for a while, at ease and as you were. Here's our next guest. Today we're doing an interview for another veteran. This is Reid, who was in World War II, and now you've got his name, and I'm going to ask him a few things. Where do you live now?
Now, 3 Trap Court, Alexandria, Kentucky.
And how long have you been here?
10 years.
10 years. And prior to that, you were in Dayton, Ohio?
No, before we moved here, we was in Georgia, a little town called Catala, Georgia. And we was down there 9 years. And the reason we moved up here then, the children started having babies and she had to be with the grandkids. That's the reason we came up here. She's originally from Kentucky.
Sue was originally from?
Yeah, she's from Fort Thomas.
Fort Thomas, I see. So she grew up, did she go to Highlands?
Yes, I believe. No, she went to Catholic. Is that a Catholic school?
No, St. Thomas probably would have been the Catholic school.
That's probably where she went.
And because they have a high school too.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about her early days.
I see. Now we're going to talk about your early days. Where were you born?
I was born in Dayton, Ohio.
What year?
1924, March 29th, 1924.
So that makes you about 91, 2?
This 29th this month will be 93.
Oh, okay, 93. And when you were born in Dayton, Ohio, what did your parents do?
My dad was on the fire department. My mother was just home with the children. I have a sister 3 years older than me, but she passed away when she was 68.
I see. Now, your childhood, you went to the local school system in Dayton?
I went to Allen School.
Which is a public school?
That's a public school, and I went there from kindergarten till the 6th grade. After the 7th and 8th grade, I went to Kaiser High School, and I also stayed there for 9, 10, 11, and 12. I graduated from there, Kaiser High School.
Is Kaiser a pretty big high school?
It was, but it's not there anymore.
Yeah. So when you were in high school, did you do sports of any kind?
I played football, basketball, and tennis. I lettered in all 3 sports.
Wow. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And what year did you graduate from Kaiser, or did you graduate from?
Yeah,
you did?
1942.
Just at the right time?
Just at the right time.
Okay. So did you get drafted, or were you in?
I was up for draft, and my next door neighbor, she took care of that, and we went to school together, and May Krinkowski is her name, and she told me I'm coming up to be drafted, so I went down and enlisted in the Navy. But before that, after I graduated, my first wife and we got married, and I thought I could stay out of the service by getting married. That didn't happen. So I went down and enlisted, and I enlisted in the Navy.
Okay. So did you go to Great Lakes? Is that where?
Yeah, Great Lakes. I was there for 2 weeks for boot camp.
2 weeks boot camp.
That's what we had, 2 weeks.
Okay.
And after that, I came back to Dayton. I was home 1 week, and then I got on a train and went to
What state?
Virginia. That's where the ship was at, and I
Right, at Newport News, probably.
Newport.
Yeah. And what type of ship were you on?
I was on an aircraft carrier,
Oh.
USS Essex. That's the first one of their class.
I see. And is that like a class 1 or 3?
It's a class. Well, the number is CV9, but it's the first one of that class, and there was, I think, 5 or 7 after that.
Okay.
Was an Essex class carrier.
So if you were on an aircraft carrier, did you wind up in the Atlantic or the Pacific?
Pacific. We went aboard ship, and I was on the board ship 2 weeks, and we left Norfolk, that's where it was at, Norfolk, Virginia. We left there, went to Trinidad on a shakedown cruise, 4 days down and 4 days back, and then we took on all our supplies and everything, and ammunition, and then we left there and went down through the Panama Canal and went to the Pacific Ocean and went up to San Francisco to take on our the aircraft planes and bombers and things, and then from there we went to Pearl Harbor.
I see. Now, a shakedown cruise on a boat is basically to get the little things that malfunction taken care of.
That's the reason. That's the reason of your shakedown cruise, and let the personnel get accustomed to being on the water, because a few of us got sick.
Yeah. Now, were you able to swim before you were in the service?
Oh yes.
Okay, so that was a lot of folks in the Navy said they threw us in, and you either learn real quick or somebody snags you out, and then
They never did that to me.
Didn't they?
No.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
The wartime thing maybe was a little bit different. I'm going to ask you now about after you got into the Pacific and you were at Pearl Harbor. Of course, it's 1942, May of 42.
No. Yeah. It was November of 42. That's when I went in the service.
Okay.
And then we went to Pearl Harbor, and I was there 3 years. And when after the war, then I came back to Bremerton, Washington. I got discharged there.
I was at Bremerton once. I was at Fort Lewis myself, and is Bremerton a naval yard?
Yeah.
It's right there on Puget Sound.
Right. That's where when we pulled in there, we had to unload all our ammunition into the Puget Sound.
Uh-huh. So how many planes were on your carrier? These were bombers and jets?
Bombers and fighters.
Fighters.
I really don't know. I would have to guess 105. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm
And
saying.
they had elevator systems to get
Yes.
the plane up on the deck.
Right. The elevator runs from the hangar deck, brings the planes up to the flight deck.
Now, when you were on the carrier, did you enjoy the food?
Oh yes, very much. You
Everyone-
had to, or you're going to be hungry.
Yeah. I know that a lot of folks in the Navy thought that might be the easiest way, but if you're on a ship, you have the same anxieties. You're away from home. You're with good friends you have made,
Right.
but you're also away from family. Was communication a problem? Were you able to get letters?
Yes, but it might take 3 weeks to get a letter, maybe 4 weeks. It's all according to where we was at in order for us to get any mail at all,
Yeah.
and the mail to be shipped too.
I see.
Our mail.
And basically, they brought the mail in on an airplane and landed it on the deck and
Right.
picked up the mail going out and
Right.
other supplies.
It went to the post office on the ship.
Yeah.
What did Pearl Harbor look like?
Pearl Harbor was, when I was there, it was all fixed all up. In fact, I thought I was in like Dayton, Ohio,
Yeah.
because when I went on the first Liberty, I went to Honolulu, and it had Dobbs Trucking, and that was big in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
But everybody was very kind to us. If we spoke to them, they answered us and they talked to us.
So most of the debris from the bombing was cleaned up by that time, and the ships were either being repaired somewhere or had been scrapped or whatever.
Right. Now, we got hit by a kamikaze airplane, and it dismantled our elevator. So we had to go back to San Francisco or San Diego, went to dry dock and got it fixed, and 2 weeks later we was back out in the Pacific.
So on those 2 weeks, did you have freedom of the town of San Diego or?
No, you go on Liberty, starboard or port side, one of the two. And we was a gunner division, so we went one day, and then the next week we'd go one day. We'd only get once every week.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, once every week we'd get Liberty, so that was it.
No, that's. And
But-
San Diego was very close to the Mexican border.
Yes.
Did anybody ever wind up going into Mexico and didn't get back?
No, our lieutenant told us, you go to the town and that's all. And you better get back here by 6 o'clock.
Yeah. They're pretty strict on their liberties, and they send out the shore patrol to help you get reminded that time to get back.
Right.
That was one thing that I think most of us in the military didn't ever want to encounter was the military police.
Yeah,
Not that they were unfair, just the idea that you knew there was going to be a confrontation.
Yeah.
Somebody was going to say something to one of the,
well, the MPs would come into the bars where you're at, and they would check you, see if you're drinking too much. And they'd warn you then, tell you, you better stop, or you better get back to your ship.
yeah.
And
So the transportation back to the ship was on a military bus or
No,
truck, or you
we
had to make your own
we
way?
had to make our own way.
Yeah.
We got on a regular town bus that
Right.
took us right down to where we had to get into the ship.
Now, do you remember what the fare was to get, let's say, a mile or two?
No, I
Nickel
don't.
dime?
I would say a quarter to most.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's, a lot of folks don't understand the fact that the military is very structured. And you need to be where you're supposed to be at the time appointed. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of folks don't understand that were never involved in the military, sometimes you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning so that you can be in formation, but you may not leave till 7 or 8 for
Yeah.
where you're going. Did that happen in your?
No, because aboard ship, we just go from our living quarters out to the gun deck, and then until mealtime, then we would go down. Only so many of us would go down and eat, and then come back, and then the other ones would go down and eat.
Okay, so when you were at Pearl Harbor, your airplanes were supporting the Pacific Theater, bombing various places.
Yeah.
Did any of your ships that you know of go to the Aleutians or not, whatever those little island strings were that the Japanese were still in?
Oh, yeah, well, our ship did. We would go out for 3 to 4 months and do the battles and everything. It's all according to what the admiral told us to do. And then we would come back for 1 week, and they'd take on supplies and everything, and go back out for another 3 or 4 months again.
And an aircraft carrier is sort of like a town in itself.
Right.
It
We
has
had-
everything you need.
We had KP and everything there.
Yeah. And you had theaters.
Yeah. And we even had a band would play, like on Saturday evening. And if I could play an instrument, I would go up and tell them, and they'd put me in the band. If I was good enough, I could stay. If not, I'd just go ahead and back. But it was, I didn't get homesick. I will say that all the fellas that I was with, we just like a brothers, all brothers. And to this day, well, none of them are alive now. I'm the only one that's left living. But I used to go to New York and New Jersey and visit them. Mm-hmm. And we would all there were 6 of us, and all 6 of us would go to different towns, and they came to Dayton one time to see me. And I had my dad and mother come out, and of course my first wife was there too. But it kept you from getting homesick. We had one boy that he got to a point where he just couldn't take it any longer, and he told the chief of our division that he's thinking about committing suicide. And he says, well, you come here with me. And he had a long talk with him, and then he went and seen the preacher. He wasn't Catholic, he was Protestant, so he went to the preacher, and the preacher put him with him, and he had him for 2 weeks, and he came back with us, and he was all okay then. It was just one of them things that he was missed home all the time.
And everybody who's in the military, it's a different experience, and some folks had never been away from home or had never been away from family, and that's kind of a hard, but you eventually develop these brotherly relationships,
Right.
closer than a brother.
Yeah,
And in your case, and most people in the military that develop them, that is a lasting relationship their entire life.
oh yes.
You're the last of the living of your crew. When was the last person that you were connected with? When did he die?
Tom Coughlin is his name. He was from New York. He was out on the, I can't think of the name of the town.
Long Island, maybe.
Yeah, he's out on the island, but I can't think of the name of the town he was out. But he was the last one that passed away. Nick Franco, he and I was the closest.
Mm-hmm.
And he would come, him and his wife, Maria, they came when my first wife passed away. And they came and stayed 2 weeks with me. And then they went back, and they invited me to come up there. So I didn't do it until about 9 months later. I got to a point, and I talked to my dad about it. I told him, I think I'm going up to see Nick. He says, why don't you? You're by yourself now, so you can do that. So I did. I went up and seen him, and I stayed with them for 2 weeks too. And they took me out to see Tom Coughlin and his wife. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing how those relationships last, and
Yeah.
you pick up where you left off? It ain't like
Right.
you had to ask what happened 22 years ago or something. If it's important enough, they'll tell you, and if it's not, you're just there and enjoying each other's
Yeah.
company.
Well, see, I was Protestant when I went in the Navy, and 3 weeks after I was over in Pearl Harbor, I talked to Nick about becoming Catholic, and because I run around with all Catholic boys when I was in Dayton, and he says, "Would you want to turn?" I says, "I'm thinking about it." He says, "Well, let's go see the priest." So we did. We went down, and he asked me a bunch of questions, and I answered them as best that I could, and I turned Catholic then in 1943. Yeah.
I'm going to go back to your Pearl Harbor days. The boat was in, I won't say, it was stationed at Pearl Harbor, but it went out on these cruises for 3 months, 4 months, 5
Right.
months. How often did you get back to Pearl Harbor? Did you go to other points?
No.
It was always back at
Always
Pearl
right
Harbor.
there at Pearl Harbor.
I see.
Yeah.
And the fact that they were building ships, were they building any ships at Pearl Harbor or just repairing?
No, just repair 'em.
And Bremerton is a shipbuilding yard.
Right.
And is Norfolk also a shipbuilding yard?
Yes.
And these are basically armed workers and things like that, not necessarily Navy personnel.
Yeah.
And the Navy personnel are supervising these, the captains and the admirals.
Right.
Shipbuilding, I think, is a phenomenon. You know, you got these welders, and that's where, and I'm forgetting the little logo, Kilroy. Kilroy was here.
Yeah.
As I understand it, it began at the Navy.
Yeah.
Because one of the fellows that had been in all the holes and stuff like that, and some of his supervisors accused him of not making these inspections of the civilians,
Yeah.
and he started putting that little logo of
Yeah.
I don't know that his name was really Kilroy. Was it Kilroy? Do you know that?
Yeah,
His name was Kilroy.
Kilroy, yeah.
And then we started seeing that all over the world
Right.
eventually because the Army guys picked up on it. They were riding the Navy ships, transport ships. And that's something that I find yet people are drawing this as graffiti without knowing the background behind it.
Yeah.
So Kilroy was every place you was on the ship
Oh, gosh, yes.
long before you were. I'm going to ask you now a little bit more about your childhood. Your mother and dad were, your dad was a firefighter, your mother was a homemaker,
You're right.
and you only had one sibling, a sister.
I had one sister, and then later I had two brothers.
I see.
10 years younger than me was my brother Don. 17 years younger than me is my brother Dan. Dan's still living. Don and Harriet, which is my sister, they both passed away. And mother and dad died. Too.
So Dan lives in Dayton yet? Your brother Dan?
Yes, he's in Beaver Creek.
Okay.
That's just right out of Dayton.
Yeah, I understand. So eventually you were married and you moved back to Dayton. What was your job then? Did you immediately become a firefighter?
Yes, well, no, firefighter. I went down, took the examination, and my dad was on, and he was ready to retire. He was retired in 1945. I went on in 1946.
I see.
Yeah, he spent 25 years then, and he got something like around $3,200 a month, and that was his retirement.
Well, in 1945, that was a pretty
That
good
was
chunk
good
of
money.
Good
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And eventually, you met Sue.
Well, my first wife passed away 9 days before our 50th wedding
Oh, wow.
anniversary. Her name was Hilda Eileen Reid, or Rosalie when I married her, then became Reid. But she always went by the name of Sis. Even in school, all the teachers called her Sis. Yeah. But we went to Florida for our 50th wedding anniversary, and my son, he gave us the money to go down there. And she died 9 days before our 50th.
Well, you have our sympathy on that, but you had a long, good marriage
Yeah.
life. And
then about 13 months later, I married Sue.
I see. Have you known her before, your wife?
Yes, I was in the VFW in Kettering, Ohio, 9927 is post number. And 1986 and 87, I was commander. We had 632 personnel there. And when I left in 97, or 98 then, we had 1,015.
Wow, you've certainly increased the membership.
Right, yeah.
And were most of these folks WW2
Yes.
and a lot of Korea, I'm sure?
We had WW2 in Korea. Then later on, then it was the other ones.
Well, being the commander of a VFW post is pretty much a great responsibility and a great honor, and I commend you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
And secondly, the fact that you were able to increase your enrollment so much, that seems to be the problem with a lot of organizations like that. We all age, and the young guys still have families to raise and jobs that they have to take care of, so they're not able to do all the things that are needed in the VFW post,
Yeah.
the American Legion. Now, you're a member of the American Legion also,
Yes.
here in Simon Gosney?
I joined in Dayton, or Kettering, Ohio, and then I was a life member there in Kettering, Ohio. Then when I came here, they wouldn't accept my life membership, so I had to go and pay monthly. And I didn't care for that too much, but I did. And the reason they told me, and I can't believe it, why, they said Dayton and Kansas is the two that they can't recognize because they didn't pay into the national. Well, when I gave them my money, that's where it was going to go. When I gave them my money for
For a
life membership,
yeah.
they told me that's part of that's gonna go to the national.
Well, I understand sometimes when bureaucracy gets in the way of common sense, we all suffer.
Well, but the thing is, I'm American Legion wherever I go. It doesn't make any difference where I go, I'm still in American Legion.
And you're a member of the VFW 3205
Yes.
here in Alexandria. And I know you do a lot of other things too. Do you have other hobbies? I know you're a golfer, aren't you?
Yes, I play golf twice a week, sometimes
Twice a
3
week.
times a week, yeah. But then we go to the nursing home down at,
The Highlands are in Campbell County?
no, it's on down Bethel, I think it is.
Oh, okay. Bethel, Ohio.
Kentucky.
Oh, Bethel, Kentucky.
Isn't it Bethel?
I don't know where that is.
Well, you know where Falmouth is?
Yes,
It's just this way.
Butler.
Butler, that's it, yeah.
Riverview.
Riverview. Yeah, we go down there every Wednesday, me and my wife and another couple. Well, you met Kathy.
Yes.
She's now just starting because the first couple we go down to play bingo with them and we go down there at 2:30 and we play until 3:30. If they bingo, we give them a quarter. But the nursing home, they give us the money to give to them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of visits down to the Butler Nursing Home, and I'm very well pleased with the folks who do the coordination. Robin Reid, I think.
Yeah,
Were you
Robin.
related to her by any chance?
Huh? No, we're not related.
No, okay. That's a pretty common name.
She thought we was, but we're not. Now her father's there.
Uh-huh.
He's had his leg amputated and he's got a new one to put on, and he's been walking about 10, 15 minutes every day on that, getting used to it.
Well, it's great that you're able to go down there and help those who are somewhat less fortunate in physical health.
Yeah.
You know, you're blessed. You don't have too many problems.
No, that's all.
Well, I think
Hearing aids. But I get the hearing aids from the VA. It doesn't cost me anything.
yeah, and they're good hearing aids.
Oh, yes.
I hear too much sometimes. You hear the clatter of the plates behind you, and
Yeah.
and folks that don't understand that, sometimes it's a blessing to have hearing aids, and sometimes you hear too much.
Right.
But the good thing is it allows us to communicate and go from there. So I'm going to go back again. I'm going to ask you about your childhood. When you woke up in the morning and you looked out the window, what did you see?
Well, I saw a big field because we was the last house on the street. The street's called Urbana Street in Dayton. And we lived on the left side of the street going down. And we was in the last house. And that's all field. And to the right of us was a ball diamond. They played softball down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it a agricultural field that had crops in it, or it was just
No,
bare,
it's just a bare
a meadow?
weed field.
I see. Wheat.
And it all went all up to the railroad track.
I see. And were there still steam railroads when you were, 15, 18, before you got out of high school? Steam as opposed to diesel engines?
Oh, no, they were all steam engines.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know we've interviewed some folks that the steam engines were going out in the 50s. When you were put on a train at Norfolk or Great Lakes, and then you went by train,
That was steam engine.
that was a steam engine.
Yeah.
And do you remember anything about that train ride other than it took a while?
No, I was in such a big hurry to get home, I didn't even pay attention to listen to clickety-clacks of the thing.
Yeah.
Well, we get to talking to different people, while we're on the train, and just time went fast for us.
Sure. Now, I guess your time in the military, how many years?
3 years and 3 days.
3 years and 3 days.
Went in November the 3rd and got out November the 5th.
Now, did you have to sign up for 3 years by being in the Navy? No.
No.
Duration.
Duration, yeah.
And other than some of the leave time while you were in San Diego and various other places, did you get any time off? There was that way of keeping score when people were allowed to get out of combat zones and things like that. Did that apply to the Navy?
No, we was there 2 weeks and went right back.
I see.
And we didn't get no liberty to go home or anything. Well, when I left in 42, why, I didn't go back home until after I got discharged.
I see. And then it was a very short time you joined the fire department.
Yeah, I got home in August, and went on. That was in 45, and in 46, I went on the fire department.
What was your first job as a firefighter?
Firefighter,
Being in
first job. Then they needed some drivers, so I got to drive the pumper, and I drove it all for about 23 years, and I was cooking at the same time too.
Yeah.
I cooked for 23 years on the fire department.
So do you remember the angel makers?
No, I
The
don't.
breathing device that was canisters? And they were-
Oh, we had I think about 2 years after I went on, then they brought the canisters out.
I see.
Yeah.
And at what point did they have self-contained breathing apparatus while you were still an active firefighter? You know, with the compressed air tank?
Yeah, about 5 years after I left, was getting ready to leave, we had them.
I see. The
But-
reason we called them angel makers, it gave you a false sense of security that they were taking the smoke and the carbon dioxide and stuff out of it and catching it in these canisters. But there was a lot of stuff that went through there that turned out to be hazardous.
Yeah.
And, you know, they don't discover these things till 10 years too late.
I very seldom wore them.
Yeah.
I don't know, because of my dad, my dad never wore them, and I never wore them, and my one brother, Don, he was on the fire department too, and none of us ever, we put them on, but they was in the way for me.
And that was the case for a lot of firefighters.
Yeah.
So the reality is someone came with the idea of compressed air and you're breathing oxygen and nitrogen and whatever,
Right.
the same stuff that's out here. And you didn't have to worry too much about the junk coming through the rubber mask and whatever. So that was, I would say, one of the greatest innovations in firefighting in the
Yeah.
last 100 years.
Well, when they first come out with the canisters, why, we had to go to training school, and they had a dummy, and you had to put your gas mask on, on your shoulders, and stoop down and pick that dummy up and go up a ladder like about 20 feet and come back down. And then they checked your heart and everything, see how you are.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about training. Did you ever have to go into a gas chamber in the military for training?
No.
See, the Army believes in that. I guess there's not too much gas released out in the ocean.
No.
But that was always an exciting adventure. You take your mask off and give them your name, rank, and serial number, and you usually get a good gulp of pretty toxic artificial tear gas.
Well, now we did that when I was on the fire department. We went in, there was, I think about 12 of us went in this one room, and they set fire, and if you didn't get down low, you was smelling smoke. And of course, I knew enough to get down low for my dad.
Sure.
And we stayed in there 5 minutes, and then they opened the door and we walked out.
Yeah. Now, a lot of folks that are not connected with the fire service, they do a lot of hose evolutions, and the reality is, I think you're supposed to follow the hose back out of the building if you're trapped. That's kind of still the same theory.
Right.
Because they know that somewhere that's hooked to a piece of equipment that
Right.
somebody's going to help you out. And I know that a lot of times firefighting is one of those deals that we only hear about when the siren goes off. But 24 hours a day, something is happening, and you were cooking.
Yeah.
And how many people were you cooking for?
12.
12 on each shift?
Well, the first time it was 6.
Uh-huh.
4 of us on the pumper, and the chief and his driver.
I see. So, are you still a pretty good cook?
Oh yeah, I cook here most of the time.
Do you?
Sue cooks, but she can't stand too long at the stove.
Mm-hmm.
So I relieve her. Now there's things that she cooks better than me, and she'll help me so long, and then she sits down.
So, do you have any secret recipes that you've not passed on to anybody else?
No, everybody eats just about what I cook.
I understand. And we talked about you being in Campbell County for about 10 years now, and you're here in the midst of Alexandria. Did you ever have a job after you got here, a part-time job or anything? I know you're busy with the nursing home and the VFW.
No, I never got a job. When I was living in Kettering, Ohio, my second wife, well, Sue, she worked at golf course, Holly Hills Golf Course. And that's when I got started playing golf, is after my first wife passed away. And I knew Sue, my first wife, and Sue and her husband, we run around together for, I don't know, a couple months, and or a year, I mean. And then my wife passed away, and then I would see, he was my bartender, her husband, and then he got to a point where she couldn't stand him anymore because he would make her come up and sit at the bar while he was tending bar, and if she talked to the person sitting next to her, a man, he called her every kind of son of a gun there was, you know.
That's
and
unfortunate.
it's just, he was so jealous of her. And finally one day, he and I went to the golf course, and I told him, I said, why do you do that to Sue? He says, I don't know, but he says, I just can't stand another man talking to her. I says, well, you better get used to it because you're going to be losing her.
Yeah.
He says, oh, no, she won't.
Ultimately, I thought you and Sue had been married a long time ago, a long time when I first met you, because you were so compatible. And
Well, now, Sue and I have been married 25 years.
yes, that's a long time also.
Yeah.
So the reality is, you and your golf game and Sue being working there, it created a good relationship.
Oh, yes.
Now, does she doesn't golf anymore?
Not anymore.
Can't.
She was 11 handicap when she quit. When she got breast cancer. And we was in Georgia then. And this one morning she went up and took a shower, and she came out and says, I'm going to have to go see the doctor. I says, why? She says, I got a lump on my breast. I says, well, then we'll go. So we did. And he says, yes, you do. And he talked her into having it removed. He wanted to remove both of them, and she says, no, just the one. And that's the way it was. She took chemotherapy, and it relieved her very good. And then later on, she got cancer of the inside of her spinal cord, up in 5 and 6 up in here, and they operated and took 2/3 of it out. And when they did, they hit a nerve and paralyzed her all on the left side. And that's been her problem ever since.
Yeah.
And then she went to scoliosis.
Yeah.
She leans 45 degrees to the right.
And she leads a full life yet.
Oh,
and,
yes.
I think that's to be commended. You have to keep fighting.
Oh,
You have
yes.
to keep fighting,
Right.
as opposed to a lot of folks with the chemotherapy, it becomes a problem. And then if the second time their cancer resurfaces or some other disease, they choose not to. It's one of those things in life that you take it as it comes, and if it's going to help you and you can stand it, then you do it. I would not want to ever say that I know how anybody feels, because I've never been in that position to have to make that decision. But I marvel at people who just keep going and going and going.
Right.
So 2 days a week you golf.
Yes.
And what's your handicap?
My handicap's 13. That's what it was last year when I quit. I was 11 before that, but last year I ended up as the 13.
No, that's still pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go back out again.
Yeah. And do you golf in the winter?
No.
No, you don't use the orange ball.
Only time I golf in winters if I go to Georgia.
I see.
When I was in Georgia, I worked at Callaway Gardens. That's where they had the professionals had the Buick Challenge there, and they was there about 7 years, and then they moved. Well, when I went down, my brother-in-law, he worked at Aflac, and they worked that Buick Challenge every time. And when Sue and I got down there, they allowed us to do it too. So we worked there all the time. And then by working there, I got to play my golf for free.
Sure. There's a perk.
right.
And
But then I would work, I was a starter and a ranger.
well, I'll confess that my golf game is pretty bad. And I always tell people that I'm standing too close to the ball after I've hit it. And I guess one of those things, it's a game that you either have to love or you tolerate.
Right.
Did you ever play, you mentioned that you played the three sports, and did you ever play baseball?
No.
Never played any amateur?
The reason I never played baseball, my dad wasn't
Available.
make enough money to buy me baseball spikes or a glove. Now that Chief Gehring, he was a baseball coach at Kaiser High School, and he told my dad, he says, Lonnie, he says, I'll give Dale a glove if you can buy him his spikes. He says, I just can't afford it. I'm just making barely paying for the house, and then because in 1929, when they had the depression, the banks closed. He lost everything.
Yes.
He lost the money. He lost his house, and he never would buy a house again. He rented from then on.
Yeah, that depression affected a lot of people, and most folks that grew up during that depression are still very frugal. If something will do for another year, then they'll do that instead of buying a new rug or whatever.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that philosophy. I was going to ask you if you remembered the depression. Obviously, you were just born into it, and you don't have much of a memory. But it lasted till 35.
5 years. I was 5 years old when the depression hit, 1929, and I remember walking down the street with my dad to go to the bank to get the money, and couldn't do it, and that's when he lost everything. And today I have money from like the end of this month. I'll put that away, and because I got payday on the first of the month, so I live off of that. And I have a retirement from the fire department. I have Social Security, and then from the VFW I get money from them because of my hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And Sue gets Social Security from 10 years that she worked at Kroger's.
I see. Well, I didn't necessarily want to go into that, but the reality is you are living very comfortably,
Oh, yes.
considering
Yes.
some folks that pass 65 or 66 are hand to mouth. And the good thing is there's a lot of social services that help seniors.
Right.
Your golf game is the one thing I think it kind of keeps you fired up and moving on.
Right. And now Sue once in a while will go with me, and she'll drive the cart, and I'll just play by myself. Or if there's one person there, I'll play with them, and she just drives the cart. She tried to play, and her and I went out together, and she couldn't hit her driver. She could hit her irons, but she couldn't hit her driver.
I understand.
We played 4 holes, and she just says, "I'll drive now." So, and I've finished 9 holes, and we come on back home.
Yeah. So you go to the nursing home one day a week, and I know you have medical appointments and things like that. Most of us do eventually. Do you have any other hobbies besides golf?
Well, I build birdhouses, and I work in the yard all the time, and I take care of that pool that's out there. And Sue used to, but she just can't do it anymore, so that's my job now.
I see.
And we had chemicals when we first moved here. We went to salt water, and we have to get a new thing to
The pump or the...
pumper for to do the salt water.
We, do you have people come swim?
Oh yes, your daughter, and I think there's 5 of them from that come together, and they all work together. Well, we're on with the American Legion Auxiliary.
It's a very interesting social group among those ladies, but they're all very hardworking, and they do a lot of things at the Veterans Administration Home in Fort Thomas and other things. They have, and I'll put the plug in for them,
Right.
the Ladies Auxiliary of the American Legion 319, I think, or they are
209.
209. You're right. They are basically keeping a lot of people in the veterans' homes entertained.
Yes.
Valentine parties, Christmas parties, they
Right.
bake cookies for them. These are things that would not happen. But luckily, these young ladies, and I say young, they're anywhere from about 29 or 30 to 85, or they're very active in the American Legion, but mostly it's a social, and they are very outgoing, and they do a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of things for
You're right.
people who, so a lot of the younger folks there at the Fort Thomas home are temporary. They're just in and out, mentally getting some treatment and some physical treatment. But the idea of somebody showing up with Valentines and cookies,
Right.
and I know that Andrea, you mentioned, my daughter, has a way with little people, little kids in schools, and she
Right.
said, "Now we're going to go visit soldiers. Can you make 1 or 2 Valentines?" And the kids will make 20.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
It's great. So the idea is there's a lot of good things happening, as even though it's a social club per se, but the main drive is to help veterans.
That's right.
So our veteran interviews, we are proud that we are able to get a lot of WW2 guys. There are not many of you that can still allow us to come in. And I'm tickled and I'm thankful for the opportunity to interview you, Dale.
Well, I'm thankful you did.
And this will be presented on local cable television at some point, and you'll get a copy of this. And I'm going to make them one more plug. If anybody is ever in need of entertainment, the Campbell County Historical Society has 2 floors of entertainment. We had to kind of move a few of our things to the lower, but we've got a museum, we've got a research library, we've got the school files of just about every kid that was in Campbell County.
Yeah.
We've got their grade records. We've got the Spears Hospital collection, which is the first hospital in Campbell County, and we've got such a wonderful collection of a lot of family ties. So I'm saying, if you're looking for entertainment and you can make it to the Historical Society and the old courthouse in Alexandria, it's an entertainment that goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, Sue will go most any place I want her to go, but we can only stay so long because she gets so tired pushing well, it's not pushing it, but just walking. And there's times I'd take her to the grocery store and she don't want her walker, so I let her push the cart. And about halfway through, she says, "Dale, we're going to have to take me out and you finish." So, but she tries,
Yes.
and I have to give her credit for that. And we're very close together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask one more question before I kind of terminate, and it's a question that it's not greatly philosophical. I'm just going to ask you, if you had advice to give to the younger generation, what would it be?
I believe that the younger boys, when they get to their age, they need to go into service, because there they will get discipline, and that's what the younger people today need.
Yeah.
They need discipline. I just hate to hear this heroin stuff and the dope that they're taking. I just can't stand it. We never had that when I was a kid.
And I'll say this, I never met anybody that came out of the service that was worse than when they went in. They were all better.
Right.
And you learn a lot of things, and you meet people that are going to give you guidance in your life, and you're going to meet lifelong friends. And that's kind of part of the problem. I'm not philosophical about some kids don't have friends, but I think that's part of the problem. They're on a video device, and that's their whole world. They don't
Yeah.
have somebody they can talk to or ask for advice. And so if any of you older folks out there are listening to this on cable or whatever, remember that there are a couple of people that we need to take into our own consideration. Those who have not lived long enough to know what the world is all about, and those who have lived long enough to kind of be excited and still going on to the next day. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dale, for taking your time, and we look forward to when we can see this.
Well, I thank you very